Hello and welcome to This Naked Chat, a podcast where six friends from different walks of life come together for honest, unscripted conversations about living alcohol-free and everything that comes with it. We all met at a live event hosted by Annie Grace of This Naked Mind in March of 2024. What started as a mastermind group with the six of us and Annie turned into some really deep friendships, filled with connection, tough conversations, and a lot of laughter. And after a year of growing and learning together, we realized that these conversations might help more than just us. So here we are, no scripts, just real talk. We are incredibly grateful to Annie and This Naked Mind for helping us get this off the ground and for the impact that her work has had on each of our lives. I am Brian, and I am joined by Kori, Agnes, Judi, Jenie, and Sammie. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. We did it. All right, so what do we have? Judi, Kori, Agnes, Jenie, Brian today. And here is the topic, and I'm going to read it. How did alcohol influence or stifle your creative side? How did alcohol influence or stifle your creative side? Was this Jenie?
It sounds like me. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I was just thinking about this again yesterday. So you want me to start, don't you?
Well, I mean, I don't, if you'd like, I have my thoughts on it from on what I thought it did and what I think it really does now. But
you go.
Well, I mean, I saw and I'm thinking more from like a improv kind of comedy standpoint, where I thought it made me more, I'd say, I don't know about creative. I think I probably thought it did. What it really had me do, and this, it's one of the reasons why I stopped improv for a while, because it makes you less filtered, not in a great way, is what I thought. So there were things that I would say that I was like, oh my God, if I didn't have that in me, there's no way I would have ever said that out loud. And I think I mistook that for creativity sometimes. I don't know what that means.
Did you use it to ease nerves?
Yeah, so that's probably the part of it, is like there was, I probably thought there was a fine line, and when you cross that line, you went into a different area where you didn't necessarily want to be. So yeah, you're probably right. It probably was like, hey, this will kind of calm me down. And I remember there was one particular night where there happened to be like a pretty strong keg in the back, and I think I had like 2 instead of 1, and was like just not myself, I guess. And I was like, don't, no more of that. And now I won't go on up with anything. I want to be completely calm. So like I even if it's like marijuana or something like that is pretty prevalent nowadays in that world. I don't know. Some people can do it, I guess. I can't.
Well, I think too, especially when you're doing improv, you have to kind of have your reflexes going, right? You can't skate around that.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I've noticed even things, and this is probably more because for me, I almost, when I stopped drinking, I did more marijuana. That was kind of my path. What that California sober, I guess, is what they called it back then, or maybe still do. But like, I think it was even that is like, I would think that the things that I was doing, like when I was journaling, I'd come up with some idea and I'd write it down and be like, oh my God, this is life altering for everyone. It's going to change the world. And the next day you read it and you're like, what in the hell were you talking about? Like, so yeah, it's just an interesting, I don't think you can notice it when you're in it,
I was,
I think a lot of artists, though, have like figured that out. I mean, even like Ron White, who had a whole shtick. He's a comedian who's his entire shtick was about drinking on stage and stuff, and he quit drinking. Now I think he does a lot of pot now, but not necessarily on stage because he doesn't really perform that much anymore. But like a lot of artists like figured out that it was just killing. Like Stephen King, the author, he quit. I think he was doing drugs too, but like him thinking that it was like additive and no, actually it's like threatening your life. So if you don't quit doing this, you not only you're not going to write, you're going to be dead, or you won't have a family or whatever.
This came up for me the other day because I've been away for way too long from any kind of serious writing, and my shtick was poetry, and I was pretty good at it and got some stuff out in the world, which was fun. And there was, for a while, until things fell apart, there was a sweet spot where that one glass of wine really did, I don't know, I suppose kind of like an LSD trip or something. Doorways opened and I saw perspectives and words that I wouldn't have put together, and I did, and they were actually good. So there was sort of that performance sweet spot, and then the second glass, it would all fall apart. My thoughts of my own brilliance went up exponentially, and then the morning after read, it was like, oh my God, this is terrible. But that's the context in which this came up again, and it's harder now to find those words and to put them together. It's definitely harder, but I also haven't done it for years. So those little synapses in my brain need to be awakened again. And, but that's part of the reason I was just yesterday actually thinking about this all again and remembering sitting at my desk in Minnesota after supper, and puttering with words and what that felt like. And the best part now is when I can put something together again, which I haven't yet, but I'm trying. The high of succeeding is just going to be so much more because it won't be dampened by the effects of the alcohol, right?
I think also you're speaking to something that's like, is the whole, alcohol is a drug. You're medicating something. And so, you're medicating that like imposter syndrome or the negative self-talk or whatever. And like, yeah, it'll medicate that and like get that out of the way. Right. And
yeah. And I think that also, I guess where does it all, the creativity start from? So for me, I see it more as having that calm body. So if I'm calm within, never mind what's going on in my brain, if my body is calm, and that's what obviously alcohol would do, is firstly calm my body, then I'm able to start looking at things differently. And like you mentioned, Jenie, like just different perspectives and stuff, and which may not make any sense or anything like that. So, just for myself, it was learning how to calm my body now without the alcohol, which has been a totally different thing, which then becomes that meditation or the breathing or some other kind of stuff. But I find it all starts with having a calm body for me, my nervous system, all of it. And then I'm able to explore. So I always thought that alcohol gave me that because that's the immediate thing it calmed down was my body. I was just so relaxed. So I could do whatever it is that I wanted to do.
That's such a great observation, Agnes. Like that really the foundation was having that calmness, right? And like that there's so many other ways, healthy ways to achieve that.
This episode is sponsored by The Path by This Naked Mind. It's a year-long program that combines expert guidance, daily support, and a connected community to help you take back control of your drinking so that you can wake up without regret, trust yourself again, and live a life that doesn't revolve around alcohol. Unlike the programs that focus on your behavior alone, The Path helps you eliminate the desire to drink using science-backed content, world-class coaching, and a compassionate community that really, truly gets it. So you can feel confident and in control of your relationship with alcohol without shame, without rules, and without missing out on the things that matter most. And in 2025, support is more accessible than ever before with live online coaching calls every hour on the hour from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Saturday. No matter where you are in the world or what your day looks like, support is always there, right in your back pocket. Learn more and start your path to freedom at nakedmindpath.com.
I wonder, we said a few times that there's like a fine level, and I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast or when, but I've seen a lot of stuff lately on like, you see those kind of little things that people say or believe. And one of them recently was like, they were blaming sort of the, people getting less socialization and connection on the fact that drinking has declined and people aren't going out as much. And I think that's silly, but I understand it because to kind of our points, it's like when we are out, that first glass might settle some inhibitions, right? To where we're like, if we're normally like a quiet person, we might suddenly be, wanting, more open to talking. And it seems like a lot of these things are simply like, well, that's just because that's what you know, what you believe. And there's a skosh of truth in it, right? Because it really does. But then there is a fine line because once you, like you said, Jenie, that second glass removes it completely. And I think that's where normally that problem it's definitely for me, right?
Well, there's a skosh of truth, but it's also true that there's other ways to achieve that. Sure. Right. I mean, yeah. And I'm not, whatever, if somebody wants to drink, have a glass of wine to like, I got nothing bad to say about it. I've done that plenty in my life, but like, it's also true that like Agnes was saying that like, really, I just want to be calm. And so what are these other options to like be calm? Or really, I just want to like connect to people. And so what are these other ways for me to connect to people?
And would it be better doing that or learning how to do that as you, like without anything, right?
Right.
Yes, like, but like it's hard. Maybe it is a little harder. Mm-hmm. If it was worth it. I don't know.
Well, again, it's like, what is creativity to somebody? We all have we see creativity totally differently because we're all so different. And when you are in a group of people that you care about and you want to connect to and you want that time with them, then you're going to be doing things that to you you may not want to. So you want that release, or relief, I should say. And that's where the drinking was so perfect because then then you feel like you could calm yourself because now you're doing something that to you is not creative. You don't know how to do it. To somebody else, they may enjoy it. And now you're just trying to do that with them. And you need that. So people get stuck in that whole cycle.
Yeah, I think it's less about like a judgment about alcohol and more about like just try some other stuff. Like, if that's the thing, if you can figure out what it is you're looking for, then just try a few other things. You can drink or don't drink. It doesn't have to be all judgy about it, but like just open yourself up a little bit.
I think too, I have a couple of physician friends who are very talented painters, very talented. And one of them had a circuitous route. When I first knew him, he did clay stuff, really cool sculpture and all of that. And he was drinking at the time. I would never say he drank to excess, but he would definitely putter with clay and have his wine or his beer. And then for other reasons, he quit drinking, and he found that he wasn't getting joy anymore out of clay. And there was, in retrospect, he says now, there was an association there with, oh, I can have a beer and go to my pottery studio. Yay for me. So he was mopey about it for a while, but then he just changed mediums. And so now he paints, and, he's retired from medicine, but he's participating in juried huge art shows all over the country and selling and basically making a living selling paintings. And he never would have come to that if he hadn't just said, okay, I'm not going to give up completely. I'm just going to do a 180. Wait, 180? 360? I always get this wrong.
180 right? Would be the opposite. 360, you're just coming right back around.
I screw it up every time. Anyway, he forged ahead. And now his creativity is actually magnified by a factor of a gazillion. So that was interesting to me also. So for any creative people out there who are not drinking and feel like you've lost your muse, maybe switch media.
Did it come up in, I'm looking, I guess Jenie and Judi, you both did. How does it play in like singing?
Oh.
Because I mean, and in my mind, I'm thinking even like a karaoke type thing, like that certainly brings up courage, but how's it play in that?
Judi, do you want to go?
Go ahead.
It was huge for me because I, of course, was medicating stage fright. And I thought it was helping, and I thought it made me sing better until I started hearing recordings. And what was happening, I mean, the fundamental thing about singing is you have to breathe properly. And I would forget to breathe properly if I drank, which affected my tone and my output quite spectacularly. And I could hear it on recordings. I could tell the difference from when I'd had 2 glasses of wine before going out there and when I didn't. So for me, it was huge. It's way better without.
Yeah, I'm wondering, we're kind of getting to that, like, what was the root of it? And, we've pointed out like the stage fright, the ease, the fear, but then also like that, like you were talking about with the clay person, it's like, it's almost like a treat, like, oh, these two combine, and I like, it's just kind of an unwindy type. So I'm looking to unwind. So it is almost like, all right, what's the reason we're going for here? And I think maybe it's that, like it's been said, it's fine until it's not, right? Until it like becomes oh wow, this is affecting me now in a way that's either causing me to not enjoy this activity anymore, or if you're performing for real, I guess, degrade your performance, then you have to look at it.
Well, and that can be with any performance, right? That can be your day-to-day performance. I mean, it doesn't have to be artistic. It doesn't have to be any of that. And in my mind, it's all about psychosocial connections. So that, I mean, if you're smoking or eating or any of that, we pair up. Oh, this is enjoyable and this is enjoyable. And so we make that connection in our brain. So when we break that connection, it's freaky scary. And because our brain doesn't know how to do it necessarily, right? So then we have to be just like Jenie's friend. Well, I'm going to bully my way through this. And he just changed mediums, which is awesome because he knew he had that dopamine hit within him. Because I know when I finally stopped drinking and started doing creative things, I was getting a whole different set of like firing up in my synapses that was really enjoyable that I never got when I was high.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
I mean, it's like, and what do you know about self-pride? if you're high doing it. I mean, it's that old syndrome of belly up to the family bong and think you're brilliant. Yet then you say to people, whoa, I just want to have that experience without the weed. I want to have this conversation with you. And if you do it, it's like mental masturbation, right? I love that phrase. It's like, and you get in there and it's like, whoa. And you start paying attention to what's going on, and you can get just as much of a rush and as much seeking in that. So that too, like talking with Agnes' point of let's be calm, let's breathe, let's relax first, and then carry on. Well, if you've got that carrot, like, ooh, my synapses are going to go super cool, and I'm going to be like really high on this activity without foreign substance, you can still approach it. I mean, that's how you can talk yourself out of stuff, right? I mean, well, if I do it this way, I'm not going to feel that well. But if I do it this way, I might feel super cool afterwards. So what do you want? You want the positive reinforcement.
I have had also a recent realization. I really enjoy coaching, and I'm really enjoying the whole group gig a lot, like a way lot. And I just after a call on Saturday, I realized I am getting such massive dopamine hits from this activity, and it wasn't tangible. It wasn't tangible to me before that I was feeling so good doing this because of this massive happy juice release. And so, yeah, to Judy's point, just regular activities. But I also find that coaching itself requires one to be fairly creative in the moment. It's its own version of improv, and there's a juice to that, and I like it.
And what Judi said too, what clicked in there for me was that you almost switch from just doing the activity to almost like I'd fall more into like I'm learning now how to get better at it. Or something like that, right? Like now I'm noticing things in there, even like your dopamine hit, Jenie, of like, oh, if I am totally clear mind, I'm learning kind of different things about this that I probably wasn't paying attention to before, and it kind of gets you deeper into that art, maybe, of like, oh, I really want to improve this facet. That's interesting. I like that.
Totally. Because you have the wherewithal to pay attention to that.
Yeah. And I mean, not that it's wrong to just have fun doing something, but like I've noticed that in what Judi was saying is like now that I'm not, I will come out of I'll be much more maybe reflective after a rehearsal or something and being like, oh, I need to, probably pay attention to this area. There's just little things that I can play with now versus just getting out and being like, that was fun.
Well, it's kind of like the flow state, right? It's got to be just hard enough where it's not just super easy and you're actually, seeing places that you can improve. So you want to keep doing it. You're in the flow because there is room to get better.
Well, even with exercise too, right? I think there's a flow state that comes for me when I'm running that it's hard, but once I get over that initial starting over again hump, once I'm doing it, you just keep wanting more and wanting to figure out how do I get better and who do I ask and all of the things.
Anything
it's
else
hard
today?
It's hard to drink when you're running.
It does make it harder.
And yet every 5K, every 5K ends with a beer fest or something.
And there's beer miles and all kinds of stuff out there. Well, cool. Anything else today? No?
I think we solved that problem.
Good job.
Yep.
You can be creative without it. Something. All right.
Well, and you might more enjoy your creativity without it.
Yeah.
That's certainly the
because you'll actually be in your creativity without it.
Yep. Wonderful. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Hey, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something we said resonated, made you laugh or made you think, we'd love it if you share it with someone who might need it too. And if you're curious about going alcohol-free or just ready to feel more connected to yourself, check out This Naked Mind. Annie's work brought us all together, and we're so grateful for the impact it's had. On that note, a big thank you to Annie Grace and This Naked Mind for making this podcast possible. We'll see you next time on This Naked Chat.